Hello, my absolutely beautiful Aquarian friends, and welcome to your horoscope for July of 2021, where this month, Aquarius, it's a busy month, but in two different kinds of ways. Right at the beginning of the month, in the first 8 days, we've got this busyness or this energy that is like, oh, I've got all of this stuff going on, but I can't quite get it to go. So it's like you're trying to push forward past something. But then very quickly on the 9th, the energy begins to release. And then we get to the end of the month, and the planets have moved on and they're carrying a steady, beautiful flow of energy. And we see it all culminating in a busyness at the end of July. So I look forward to walking through this month, seeing what's going on, not to mention we're going to have a full moon that's happening in your sign. So this is definitely a lovely omen for things switching directions for you. But also because this month we're coming into Leo season. So we've got so much happening in your 7th house, Aquarius. I have to tell you, I feel like relationships might be a little bit complicated this month, but not complicated necessarily in the sense of makeup breakups. Of course, it's Venus and Mars all month long, so we could definitely be seeing that. But I feel like you're watching. Like you're watching and you're observing what's going on in your relationships or in your relation to things in your life. Like you're like to Aquarius be true is kind of what's happening. So you're having to decide if the relationship alignments you have in your life right now are the correct ones or are the ones that feel soulful and rich and honest for you. So let's get in here and see what is going on for Aquarius in July. Okay, so right at the beginning of the month, as I was talking about and saying to you, right at the beginning of the month, what we've got going on is we see Venus and Mars together here in your 7th house. Now, they don't come together to a full conjunction until we get to the 13th. But what is going to happen is in the first days, Mars is going to come into an opposition with Saturn. Then it's going to square off with Uranus. And then moving right behind that in good fashion, Venus is going to tap into this energy as well. So when we have one planet that taps down into another, it creates a bit of a soft spot. And then another planet coming right behind it. And we see this combination and we see this pattern happening all month long. There's an event and then boom, right behind it, we've got another energy coming in. But these ones are all happening in these first 8 days. And of course, Saturn is over there in your sign. It's already got that square happening with Uranus that's been in place all year long. So there is an energy, there is a tension in your sign. But this energy, especially with Mars tapping in, I think is Saturn. It's very Saturnian. It's like, well, what do I think of me? What do I think of my authority in the world? What do I think of ideas that I've had in the past about what does marriage mean? What is structure? What does a traditional job look like? You are really questioning, I think, some of those things and trying to take action to move those thoughts forward. What do I think about being in this relationship? You may be trying to move it forward, but you feel like you just can't. I tell you again, these energies begin to release on the 9th. On the 9th, we're going to have a new moon happening in the energy of Cancer at 18 degrees, lighting up beautifully down here into your 6th house space. Okay. So again, this is at 18 degrees. So you want to see if you have planets, angles, or points that are at 18 degrees of your own chart so that you can see where the potency of this particular moon is going to happen. Now, this is a new moon. So we're planting our seeds of intention in a very dark sky. It is dark under this energy, but the soil underneath is very, very fertile. It's very rich. It's primed to grow your intentions here. So in this 6th house space, one of the first things that I think of for you is because it's the 6th house, it's daily routines. You know, are you asking, are you requesting, are you looking for something different in your daily routines? Something in your daily routine that needs to feel like home. You need to feel like this is my home. This is how I do this. This is what makes me feel grounded, secure, rooted. I think a lot about the 6th house being your health. You know, do you have a healthy routine in your life? Do you feel like you're mentally healthy? Because mental health lives in this particular area as well. So this could be something where you're planting seeds of intention for greater health, wellness, and security in this particular arena. If you do have things going on at work, projects, I really love freelance work in the 6th house area. You could be asking for new projects to come your way, or projects that you've already got on your table to kind of get a boost and like move it forward. Do you want a longer term contract so that it can feel more solid and more sturdy? You can find those energies under here as well. Now, I will say this, because it is Cancerian energy and it is a lunar event, I simply can't leave out or rule out that maybe something is going on in the family unit. You're needing to take care of something, or maybe you had a family member that was like down, or something that was going on in your family. And now you're asking and you're bringing a new intention into this area of wellness, of health, of a shift to the family unit in some way, shape, or form. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I'm just hearing this question, but yeah, you could be moving. I do think that this is solid enough for an indicator of a move as well. So please let me know in the comment section down below if that's you and you're packing up and you're making a move. You got a lot of relationship stuff on the table this month. So you could also just be unpacking what's happening in your relationships. Okay, as we continue on through the month, on the 11th, we're going to see Mercury move into the energy of Cancer. Now, Mercury has been in the energy of Gemini for a very long time. And even though it's been its home turf and it's been comfortable up there, what ends up happening is that Gemini is like, I got to get on the move, right? Like, I got to get out of here. I'm ready to progress forward. But you've just had new moon energy happening here. So whatever seeds that you've planted, Mercury is also coming along now to make some decisions in this particular area. You know, Mercury's like, let me at them. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to make emotionally sound decisions in this area. And of course, you could be making some decisions out of an emotional reaction. You are in Cancer, which is ruled by the moon. But for the most part, I think that Mercury is coming as a decision maker for all of the seeds of intention that you have planted. And he's like, let's do this. Let's do this. Now, I do think it busies this particular area as well, because if you are of service to family members, if you do have projects going on, you're working from home, Mercury is now in forward motion. So he's turning up the volume on a readiness to engage in communication spaces, writing, typing, all of these things become available and on the table, okay? On the 13th, we're going to see Mars and Venus coming together officially in their conjunction in the 7th house area. Now, this is your space and place of relationships. It's the opposite energy from you. So this is about relationships. Venus and Mars together, this is like the best of the best. It's magnetic, it's passionate, it's sexy energy. So in your relationships, you could definitely see the energy getting a bump. It's getting a little bit of a boost. It's like, yeah, let's live our best lives over here. If you are single, this absolutely can draw money opportunities to you just as much of a person opportunity. And I never want to shut down that even if you are single, even if you are committed, anything happening in the 7th house also has the opportunity to grow you closer to you. What's your relationship with you? But also in the 7th house, we like to do things like make commitments. So could you be signing a contract? Could you be getting married, getting engaged? It is still Mars, and Mars is that in the 7th house is the home of our open enemies. So definitely there could be some kind of contractual or some kind of disagreement that is going on. Luckily, under this particular joining of these two energies, I think it's bound to be a little bit more peaceful, but still, we just can't rule out Mars being Mars, right? As we get to the 21st, we're going to see Venus move into the energy of Virgo. Now, at the end of the month, Mars is also going to join Venus in the energy of Virgo, but right now, just Venus is making her transit. So as Venus moves into the energy of Virgo, one of the things that we see is the way that we love, the way that we want to receive love becomes very practical. It becomes very Virgo style, right? I feel good, I feel loved when you are letting me be of service to you, or when you're being of service to me, when things are detail oriented and there's a purpose behind what we're doing. But Venus also in the 8th house acts as a beautiful salve, because it brings a harmony to this particular area. So if in some way your 8th house area, your finances, your intimacy, your sex life, traumas that you've been through, therapy that you're going to, your astrology practice, anything that feels vulnerable to you. If it's been hurting or it feels like it's been lit up in some way, shape, or form, Venus is actually going to come here and try and help this be the very best that it can be in a very Venus way, a very loving, you are safe, but we need to do the work kind of way. So look for ways that you are being signaled to some sort of beautiful improvement with Venus in this particular area, okay? As we get to the 22nd, we see the sun moving into the energy of Leo, bringing light, heat, life, and vitality. And because the sun has just moved into Leo, we know that very soon we're also going to have a full moon coming to the other side, which will be in your sign. But as the sun lights up here in Leo, this is where I'm telling you, I feel like the anthem of "To thine own self be true" is really very serious this month, Aquarius. I don't care what the relationship is, right? If it's romantic, if it's friendship, if it's you, if it's you with your parents, if it's a business relationship, what you are in relation to. If it's going to be something you commit to and hold that commitment, you have to be true to yourself. What is right for you? What is your voice in your relationship? What is your voice in your family unit? What is your voice in your business? This is going to become a time where I think the sun really lights that up. But the sun is also very much so at home in the energy of Leo. So pleasure, allow there to be pleasure. Allow yourself to come center stage in your relationships. Allow yourself to just be joyful in your life and in your relationships as the sun is moving here. It's really a very lovely time, okay? Now, just behind that, on the 23rd, shows up this full moon that's happening in your sign. Now, the full moon says that something needs to be ended, acknowledged, or adjusted. So as the full moon is lighting up, because it does, it brings an abundance of light to the sky under a full moon, right? Unlike the new moon where it's dark, under the full moon, we get all the light. So if it's subconscious, unconscious, you've been hanging out with some information for a while, whatever it is, the full moon shows up and says, something needs to be ended, acknowledged, or adjusted. Okay, so what that could be for sure is that you are seeing, especially with Saturn having traveled through these early degrees of your sign, now in retrograde fashion, is that you are looking back over relationships that you've been committed to in your life, and you're emotional about it. You're like, I just don't know if this is the best place for me. That sun is still in Leo. Thine own self be true. I don't know if this is my spot. I don't know if I want to commit to this. I don't know if I want to hang out in this contract for a long time, right? And then on top of that, in just a couple days after this, we're going to see Jupiter retrograding back into the energy of Aquarius as well. And this re-entry of Jupiter back into your sign, I think truly is for you going to be this energy of, I was shown that more is available. I was shown expansion. I've been shown that I'm allowed to expand out and go beyond horizons that I thought were even ever available to me, right? So it's kind of in the retrograde fashion. Jupiter has done the expansion when it came here direct. And now as it's retrograde, it's calling you back to yourself over and over and over and over again and saying, are we taking the actions we need to expand? What are we learning? What's your inner wisdom speaking to? So it's like, come back home. Come back home. I feel like it's a month of come back home, Aquarius, right? But first things first, this full moon's got to light it up so that we can see it. We can have these conversations in relationships, all versions of relationships, and get ready to make some decisions. Now, right before we see Jupiter making that move back into the energy of Aquarius, Mercury is going to move forward into the energy of Leo. And as this is happening and Mercury's here, again, we've just had the full moon there. Mercury's showing up ready to make some decisions. If the relationship is not solid, you may be making decisions to get out of it. If the relationship's ready to move forward, you may be making decisions to take it more seriously and get into that. And that is romantically, that is business, that is contractual, that is you with you. Because what portion of you right now, Aquarius, is truly lighting up and going, yeah, I think there's another reality available for me and I'm ready. and I'm willing to move towards this experience, whatever that is and whatever that's manifesting for you. Mercury's showing up here. Now, Mercury is still coming into the 7th house. Again, I point out, this is the space of our open enemies. So if you do have challenge with someone and you know you guys have a problem, we've just had Venus, we've just had Mars, we've just got the sun, and now we've got Mercury in here. It could be trying to bring this to the table so that there can be a resolution available for you. On the 28th, Jupiter makes that move, coming back into the energy of Aquarius. Now, Jupiter is going to stay in this retrograde energy until October, okay? So between now and October, you can know that it's going to hang tight in the degrees of your sign and keep going back, keep going back, keep going back, and asking you to check back in and also to trim the fat a little bit, right? Where did you take on too much when December rolled around? And now it's like pare down a little bit, Aquarius, so that you can hear you. You can hear what's right for you. You can manage your time and do really quality Venus and Virgo work with what's in front of you, but all while being true to yourself. So that retrograde, I think, will help with that. As we close out the month, we're going to have Mars move into the energy of Virgo up there with Venus as well. Now, Mars coming into the energy of Virgo brings the actual action. It's like, boom, I'm going to take this action here. If I need to make improvements in this area of my life, if I need to Mars, cut, go to war, cut off something vulnerable in my life, or make a tear, make a slash through it, Mars will do that as well. Virgo wants to make this area the best that it can be. It wants to improve it as it needs to, but ultimately the improvements are about healing, right? And of course, depending on your chart, depending on your state of mind and the state of your spirit right now, as you're experiencing this energy, if you feel nothing but critical, this is trying to indicate to you that this Virgo energy in your chart needs a little bit of love, needs a little bit of tweaking in your action, because Virgo just gets really super critical when it's out of whack. Other than that, it's beautifully, beautifully discerning. And in the position of discernment with Mars here, you can create a strategy for your way forward that allows nothing but success and continued improvement. Really, the end of the month is loaded with a backdrop of positive energy, especially if we're using it in the most evolved way possible. All right, my beautiful Aquarian friends, I hope that you have an absolutely gorgeous month. It's like happy unbirthday to you, but you are on that polar axis with Leo. So it's like, even though the sun's lighting up in Leo, you are getting strings of that energy as well. We work and we live in polarity. So whatever's coming up for you this month, I look forward to hearing about it in the comment section down below. And I'm just sending you lots of light and lots of love around it. Bye, my beautiful friends.